Hello there everyone and welcome to the video. What's that in the background you may ask? Well, that has been the pain and suffering of my life for the past few weeks. As we have all been cooped up, many of us have decided to try to do something useful with our time. Maybe get into shape, learn something new, or even just take some time to relax. I, on the other hand, decided I don't want to teach my computer to play Minesweeper. Anyway, that doesn't sound too hard, right? Just find some online libraries for machine learning, maybe modify a copy of Minesweeper, and then just connect the two and fumble through getting it all to work properly. Certainly not a one-day job in my mind, but also not one I expect to eat up my time for over 3 weeks. Yeah, you heard me right. 3 weeks, and this is where I'm at right now. But to understand how I got here and what I've accomplished, we need to go back to when this all started. The idea I came up with was to use my Kinect from my Xbox 360 as a facial scanner that would unlock something. It would test my skills in two areas, software and hardware. I have to program my computer to detect a verified face and then send a signal to an Arduino to unlock something, whether it be a door or a box. However, after thinking it over, I realized that would be an ambitious project for someone of my skill, so I decided I'd do some smaller projects to get the hang of everything. This led me to decide I'd start with an easy machine learning project where I taught my computer how to play Minesweeper. However, I switched to Snake after thinking and realizing that Minesweeper had some weird things about it, like the first move having multiple choice, which might create some problems. After deciding on Snake, I did some research and found that normal machine learning would not fit my case, unless I wanted to play hundreds or probably thousands of games to teach my computer. What I needed was deep reinforcement learning. It's based on an action reward system where good actions get good rewards and bad actions bad rewards, training a neural network. So for instance, with my version of Snake, the network gets the current state of the game as an array. 0 is an empty space, 5 is an apple, negative 10 is a body, and negative 5 is a snake head. Then it takes a guess at what to do. Go forward, turn left, or turn right. If its action is beneficial, like it survives or gets an apple, it gets a positive reward encouraging its behavior. If not, and the snake dies, it gets a negative reward, telling it to go back to the drawing board. After discovering this, I had to find a library for reinforcement learning, because while it may sound simple, it would be way out of my expertise for me to code something like that. So looking through, I found a variety of options, like TensorFlow and PyTorch among others. However, there was a problem. These were all languages I didn't know, and I didn't want to learn a new one. So I kept looking, till after like an hour, I came across a very promising library called RL4J. It even had a built-in library called RL4J, which did reinforcement learning, although it was not very well documented, making things slightly harder. So once I found this library, everything was in place for me to get started. So having all the tools, I began my work. To start, I wrote a very simple version of Snake. The game allows the network to read the current state and make its best move, then returns the reward. It only has to render if I want it to, allowing me to connect the network to dozens of instances without having to show them all, saving on my laptop's limited resources. But then came the hard part. RL4J, as I mentioned, was not well documented, making the task of making a network and connecting it to the game much more difficult than I first anticipated. However, after modifying the examples and looking through all the classes, I was able to build my own network and environment, allowing me to get the first two pieces of my puzzle working. And honestly, it didn't take that long, but believe me, there was lots more pieces. So upon starting my program the first time, I ran into tons of debugging issues. However, they were all relatively easily fixed, and finally the program worked and ran. It was an amazing thing to accomplish, or so I thought. While debugging a program is annoying, at least you know what the problem is when your program throws an error. However, when your program runs and doesn't throw an error, and still does the wrong thing, stuff becomes a lot more complicated. For my network, that manifested itself as weird learning curves. So sometimes my network would start learning, and then crash to the worst performance, having the snake sprint to the edge and kill itself. Other times, it would just approach an asymptote of no significance, like leveling off at gaining one body part and then spinning in circles. Sometimes it literally never learned anything and continued to take random actions. But the worst was when the program crashed, but it was due to the C++ backend of RL4J, so I had no hopes of fixing it. Times were very tough, and I really did not know how to solve these problems. A typical network has like 10 or 15 different parameters that you can change, each doing a different thing, making it almost impossible to optimize or understand the problem, especially when I barely understand the point of those settings. Ultimately, this has made me unable to teach my network anything. It just doesn't want to learn, and I don't know why. It has been frustrating me to no end, especially when testing the program takes about 15 to 30 minutes each time I make a new change. It takes just an hour to fix a minor issue, and then when I do fix an issue, I have to go back and check all the settings I previously changed to see if they act any differently. My laptop has been on for 12 days straight without powering down, and it is not happy. And honestly, neither am I. I thought this would be a fun project for me where I got to explore something new, but it has been nothing but headache. So what I'm saying is that my network still doesn't work, and you guys won't get to watch some amazing learning montage at the end of the video. I know, it sucks. However, this is also not the last episode of this series. Either next week or the week after that, I will be posting an update video where I have my network learning however much time and effort that may take. But I have a reason to be confident. Deep Learning 4J has just released a new update the other day, which optimized and explained a lot of the RL4J library. So fear not, there is definitely still hope. So make sure to check back at my channel to see where I am in terms of this project, because I can assure you it will look much different the next time I come around. So that's the end of the video. I'm not where I wanted to be, but I am confident that I will be in just a few short weeks. So I hope y'all have enjoyed joining me along this little adventure. If you do, I kindly ask that you leave a like, and maybe even subscribe if you feel compelled. But even if you don't, I just ask that you at least join me in the next video in this series. It'll be interesting. So I'll see y'all in the next one. Have a nice day.